Perfect.
Hello.
Perfect. So, Vivian, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you so much for asking. So, also welcome to the show. It is so cool to have you here. Now, before we start, I have to give you a proper welcome. If you have seen some of my episodes before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. If not, let me just show you that.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. Epic, I know. All right. So, starting with the whole interview here, tell me how your acting career started.
Okay, how my acting career started. Good first question. Well, it's one of those things. I started out when I was a child. I originally was one of those children who was always dancing around the living room. As soon as music started, that was it. I was off spinning around and twirling around and pretending to be a ballet dancer. So my parents thought, right, she needs to go to ballet classes. This is something that she is enjoying. So went off to dancing and absolutely loved that. And from a young age, I was involved in shows, and quite often I was given speaking parts in the shows, and it all just kind of organically rolled in from that, really. It was a bit of a gradual process. But I absolutely loved it. I loved being on stage. I loved the immediacy of the audience and, creating something that they would react to, whether they were laughing or applauding or whatever. I just loved performing to an audience. Just, it's great. So that's
I love it.
Started. Thank you.
Okay. And what were some of the challenges that you had when you were recently started?
When I recently started, good question. So when I first started, I realised that there was a lot of competition. Because initially I went for a lot of commercial castings, and you'd be sitting in the waiting room with another, say, 10 girls of the same age, similar looks, and you're thinking, whoa, they could all be my sister. This is really strange, and it's quite mind-boggling when you realise how many people are there wanting to do it. But I think what I found challenging was just saying to myself, don't compare yourself to them, because you'd be like, oh, and who's your agent, and what have you been in? And, it's too easy to wind yourself up. I can't speak. So I think part of the sort of main challenge for me was just to say, right, let's just do my best and not think about anyone else and see what happens, and not let other factors annoy me or upset me, really, and just to keep going.
Okay. Wow. So you have been in films such as Outpost, Black Sun, Outpost, Rise of the Spetsnaz, Shadowland, and Train Set. But tell me, how you usually prepare for a character? I mean, I understand, of course, that depends on the role, but how do you usually start? What usually sets you up into this process in which you are basically creating a character?
That's true. That's a very good question. What I love about acting is the fact that you're getting the chance to play so many different characters. So quite often, you'll only be given the material that's in the script about the character, and it's up to you as an actor to go away and sit down and go, right, okay, let's think about this person. What do they like to eat? What music do they like? Where do they live? What's their clothing style? Just literally creating a backstory for them. So I like to write notes. I write lots and lots of notes about even the smallest thing, such as what their favourite high store shop is, or, the band that they listen to. Just try and remember that it's a real person who I'm going to be playing, and not just the person in the script. So I like to write lots of notes. And then if the character has a particular job, I like to research that job itself, or maybe watch videos, even careers videos that kids would watch in school about, say, what a policeman does. We all know the basics, but you're sort of going into it more in depth. YouTube gets utilised a lot, or one of the very first serious theatrical roles I played was playing a drug addict, and it was the first time anyone had ever given me the chance to play somebody who wasn't the princess or the sort of perky girlfriend. So it was great to go away and do proper academic research about drug addicts and what they go through, and how they live, and what taking methadone and all that sort of stuff, just so that I know exactly that who I'm playing is accurate and a real person. So lots and lots of research.
Okay.
And obviously lines.
I love it. And what would you say it's important when you are in the process of character creation? What's
important? To remember that they are a real person and not just some character that's going to be in a film or in a theatre show. I mean, I think obviously if you're researching, a cartoon character or a voice that you're going to be doing, or a pantomime character, that's totally different. They can be really big and flamboyant, over the top and funny. But I think when you're playing a real life character, you've got to remember that they are a real person, and that when I'm reading the lines and reading the script and learning them, to try and keep it organic and go, okay, right, I know the lines, but I'm not going to overthink how I'm going to say it, because you don't know how they're going to come out, how the lines are actually going to come out on the day when you're standing opposite the other actor. Because I always think that acting is all about reactions. So I always just have the lines in my head, but I never really know how I'm going to say them until on the day. And then hopefully the director will go, yes, that was great, or, well, nearly, but try it more this way, or less of that way, that kind of thing. But I always like to have a kind of loose idea of how I'm going to say things as well.
Okay. Wow, that is super cool here. And like in general, what do you like the most about acting on films?
What do I like? Oh, there's so many things. Well, I like the filmmaking process itself. Okay. I like the fact that it is like a big jigsaw puzzle, that there are so many different pieces that all come together at the end and like creates this masterpiece. But actually, I like the sort of family aspect of it. That when you're in a film, even if you're only there for 2 or 3 days, you get to know all of the crew, you get to know the makeup department, it's like being part of a little bubble. And especially with COVID, I was lucky enough to have a part in a British television drama, Annika, that was on in the UK in September, and I think it's maybe being shown in PBS Masterpiece at the moment. I'm not too sure. I know it's definitely going to be at some point. And there's also, I think it's also going to be out in Australia. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, because COVID was happening, it was all very, very clinical. We were all doing our tests and in bubbles and everything, and it really was like being part of this little special microcosm world where everyone was in their own world. And when the day I left, it was like, oh, bye everyone, back to reality then. It's the fact that you're all together and you're making this, you've all got this one goal of making this amazing project. So everybody's just in it to make the best thing they possibly can, and I really like that. I mean, even when we did Outpost Rise of the Spetsnaz, I went back for a few days even though I'd finished shooting, just to be part of it and just to help out and have a laugh and see the other cast and crew and just still be part of that atmosphere, because it's just electric. There's nothing like it. It's brilliant.
I love it.
Sorry, I talk so much.
You have also done some theater, and you have been in plays such as Dirty Water, Jack and the Beanstalk, Direct David Mammy, BOGOF, Just Like Me, Mr. Man. But tell me, what do you like the most about theater, and how do you usually prepare before going on stage? I mean, do you have a so-called ritual, you know what I mean, or like something you always do to kind of set your mind for to go on stage?
Okay, right. There's a few questions in there. So, well, I love being on stage. I love the fact, I think I said earlier on, that when you're on the stage, you're creating something for the audience to react to. You're creating an experience for them, so it's very special. So it's your job to give the audience a good time. They're there to be entertained and to keep their brains active. So I think I like the fact that if I actually see the emotion from audience members, it's incredible. Like the first time I performed Bog Off, BOGO, BOGOF.
Okay.
As I said, I was playing the drug addict, and it was a 25-minute one-woman show all about this girl Marie and about her struggle and how she'd sort of she was a drug addict, but she was coming out the other end, things were looking good, etc. But the first time I performed it, it was to a very small audience. It was almost like a test audience, and I made them cry. And I made one woman cry, and then I noticed there was another woman behind her crying, and I thought, wow, I did that. And of course that intensified my emotions even more. Sure. So that was just, wow, this is me, I'm properly acting now. But also with Dirty Water, it's a Scottish comedy show which we toured around the south of Scotland, and we also put on at the Edinburgh Fringe. And I played two characters, one who was very girly and very flirty and over the top, and I also played this horrible sort of nasty neighbour who made their life hell, and she was really hard and quite she was a baddie basically, if it was a pantomime. And making people laugh, when you're the only person on the stage and you do something or you say something and they just burst out laughing, you sort of go, wow, I've got 2,000 people laughing at me. Yes, and hopefully for the right reasons. So yeah, I love the transferal of emotions between the person on the stage and the audience. And just even when there's just silence, when you just there's just not a sound in the theatre, and you think, wow, they're really enjoying themselves here. So yeah, I like that. And then in terms of getting prepared, I don't really have anything terribly fancy that I do before I go on stage. I always just think, okay, take a deep breath, just think, right, okay, I'm not going to think about the fact that I'm absolutely starving, I need my dinner. Oops, I should have gone to the toilet, never mind, I'm just going to put that out of my head, and I'm just going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, walk onto the stage and just concentrate fully on what I'm doing and not think about anything else. And it's when you get back into the dressing room and sit down and go, oh, that's that done. I mean, I'll never forget doing a show years ago in a school. It was a sort of educational touring show, and again it was a one-woman piece. It was a girl who I was playing a 16-year-old. It was a while ago. Okay. I was playing a 16-year-old, and she was talking about how her brother was up for murder, and it was all very deep and a very emotional play, and I forgot I had a radio mic on. So finished the show, did my bow, ran off the stage, ran into my dressing room and went, forgot that my microphone was switched on, and I just assumed that the sound guy had turned it off, but he hadn't. So I had to go back out and do a question and answer. And one of the teachers said to the kids, so, what was what was your favourite part of the show? And they went, when we heard her go, woo! I went, yes, that was me turning off. That was me going, okay, that's that character. She's away now. This is me back to being Vivien. But it was just, it's almost like you're peeling off this mask, this being, and you're turning back into yourself again. I suppose it's a bit like Superman, between Superman and Clark Kent. When you're being an actor, it's almost like you're just like, right, that's that character. Back to reality.
That is amazing. I love that. And what advice can you give to those who recently started acting on theatre?
In theatre specifically, or just in acting in general?
Yeah.
In theatre.
Acting in theatre.
Yeah, okay. I would say to them that they should follow their dream, always, but to be realistic. Don't expect that the first audition they're going to get, the first audition they're going to attend, they're actually going to get the job. It might take 20 auditions before they actually get a part, and never to lose hope. I would always say as well, always be reading, even if it's magazine articles and you're sitting in your bedroom by yourself reading magazines. Read out loud, practice just reading. I know it sounds silly, if you can't get access to scripts, just read aloud, read characters, find your storybooks from when you were a kid and read them out and read out the characters. Imagine that you're telling stories to people, and just keep just keep fresh. Quite often in theatre editions and TV editions, they'll make you read a bit of script that you've already been sent, but quite often they'll say, here, take this, and you know, let's see what you can do with this script. And they don't give you any time to read it. It's literally sight reading. So you need to get used to just being able to pick up a script, know nothing about it or anything, but just read the characters, just read the lines and interpret them as you will. And 9 times out of 10, you know, you shouldn't doubt yourself. 9 times out of 10, you should just go for it and show that you mean business. I think as well, you've got to have a thick skin. You've got to take criticism, even if you don't agree with it. Smile and nod and go, all right, thanks very much for the feedback, great. And if you're actually thinking, whatever, don't say that to them. Just be like, all right, okay, thanks so much, that's really helpful. And if you want to take on their feedback and think about it and apply it later on in life, brilliant. But always be nice to people.
There you go.
I think quite often young actors and people in the industry, whether it's cameramen or, you know, sound people, they come out of college or uni and they're all fired up and they're ready to go. But because they might have been the best in their class, that doesn't mean that they're the best in the industry. So I think when newcomers join the industry, they should just always be nice, always be listening. Listen to the people who have got a wee bit more experience and just take it all in, because you don't know who you're going to meet on the way up. You might just meet them on the way down again. So it's always important to be nice and to remember people and remember things that people have done for you, favours that they've done for you, so that you can repay them, etc. I think it's a very close-knit industry, and I've got friends who are in the industry all over the world, and we all know each other. And it's incredible how you go, hang on, how do you know him? Like, he lives in Australia and you live in Canada. Oh, you did a film together in Edinburgh. Oh, okay. So it's a very small industry. So it's got its good points and bad points.
I love it. That is so cool. And if you could describe your career at the moment on a movie, TV show, book, or even a play, what would be the title of it? The random roller coaster ride. Okay. And would
because
it be
it is
like a movie, TV show?
We'll call it a movie, a nice feature film with comedy elements, maybe some very serious dramatic elements as well, and then just some random weird happenings thrown in for good measure, because that's what my life's like. It's so all over the place. And I think as well, especially in the acting industry, you can be coasting along quite happily, and then something really big happens and you go, yes, this is it. And then you think it's going to be big, but it's not. And then you sort of go back down again, but you think, okay, well, I've made some quite good connections from these people in that bigger project, so then they'll remember you and they'll get you back for something else, and then that could then be big. But then you might get a few good things, but then you might not hear from anybody for a while, and then you're back down again thinking, oh gosh, is anyone ever going to hire me again? But then you'll randomly get a phone call out of the blue from somebody who met you at an event 6 years ago, who said, listen, I've just found your business card. I need somebody to do a voiceover next week. It's for this, it's for that. Are you up for it? Yes, absolutely. And then you can do that, and then that can lead to something else. So, you know, I think the best advice I would give anyone is to always have an open mind. Don't expect the world. I've had so many filmmakers, you know, say, oh, this is going to be amazing, this is going to be so big, this is going to put you on the map. And then it doesn't. Just take everything as it comes, keep an open mind, be positive, be nice, be friendly, always work hard. One of my friends, Marcus, always says to me, always be learning. Never think you know it all, because you never will. Always be learning, always be fine-tuning things. You know, keep fit, keep your brain busy. I mean, even over lockdown, I started doing, you know, Duolingo, the language app, just because I had no routine. But every day I would do my Duolingo for half an hour just to keep my brain busy. And I think that's it. You should never be doing nothing. Always be thinking, right, what can I learn next? What can I practice? Even get your iPhone out and start, or Samsung or Android or whatever you use. Just practice doing monologues and film yourself, watch them back and go, oh, I keep pulling faces, which I know I do. Right, okay. I'm going to bring that down. I'm going to make things smaller, or oh, I've got a twitch in my left eye, or just things that you can just fine tune and practice. So yeah.
Okay. I like it. So my last two questions here. If you could describe your career on again, but this time on a drink, which one would you choose?
A drink is my career. God, that's a good one. How about I'm not going to say anything. I don't know. Probably a Coca-Cola, traditional Coca-Cola, because it's quite reliable. Most people like it. It's quite sweet, just like me. It's very bubbly as well, and there's lots of different bubbles. Yeah. Like my career, you could probably say my career's got lots of different bubbles to it. There's voiceover, there's presenting, there's acting, there's teaching dancing, there's different things on the radio as well. So lots of little bubbles bubbling away. They all create one sort of brand, like Coca-Cola. They all create this one thing. But if it's left and doesn't get drunk, then it just goes totally flat. And I would say that that's what can happen to anyone's career if they stop and just forget about it. It can just go very stagnant and go very flat. So I think the key is just keep going, keep fighting, keep studying, keep being fizzy, and things will keep moving.
I love
it.
I love it.
Very postmodern.
I love it. And my last question here is, what usually motivates you? You know, I mean, we all have those days, right, in which we just want to quit. We don't want to continue doing it. We just feel tired. We think that this is not working the way I suppose that I wanted to. So what gets you out of all of those toxic thoughts and they basically pull you out so you can continue pursuing your career?
That's a good question, because I mean, being an actor, there's a lot of the time you can audition for something and you think that was brilliant, and then you don't hear anything and you go, oh, I'm worthless, I'm useless. But then you see the person who got the part and you go, oh, they acted opposite Jude Law, or they were in the Royal Shakespeare Company, which is what happened to me with quite a big audition last year. I was so chuffed to audition for The Crown, and the girl who got the part was from the Royal Shakespeare Company, and I thought, well, that's fine then. She's entitled to have that part. But I think really what keeps me going is the fact that you never know what's going to happen next. So that anything, it just takes one email or one phone call or a self-tape or even just a chance meeting, and your whole life can change like that. I mean, I remember I don't know if you'll have seen it where you are, but there was a children's BBC programme called Ooglies, which it's very intellectual. It's bits of fruit and vegetables with oogly eyes, and it's an animation. It's great fun, and I did quite a lot of the female voices for that. But the reason I got that was because I'd met the producer at a party at the Edinburgh Film Festival about 3 years before then. And we'd had a bit of a difference of opinion about something, but we chatted away and we had a laugh. And he gave me his business card and told me to stay in touch with him. So we sort of exchanged emails back and forward for a while, didn't hear from him, and it was about 2 or 3 years later he just messaged me and said, listen, I've got a job for you. What? And he said, yeah, it's for children's BBC, it's Ooglies. I need somebody with a really high voice, somebody that can make lots of funny noises, and somebody who's really bright and energetic. And the first person who came into my head was you. Are you up for it? Absolutely. And then from that I got other work. So it's just the fact that you just never know what can happen, and that's what keeps me going, because there is so much rejection, there's so much bullshit as well. So you've just got to just fight through it, be thick-skinned, be determined. And I was really good pals with Sharon Rooney. I'm still friends with her. She's amazing. I don't know if you've seen my Mad Fat Diary. It's a huge programme in the UK, and Sharon has gone from strength to strength. She's one of the busiest actors I have ever witnessed in my life. She's doing so well. But we did a show at the Edinburgh Fringe together, And that was 2011, I would say that was. Anyway, we were working together, it was all great. And then just watching her get that one gig in her career, I mean, she's just everybody in the world knows her, she's world famous. And I just think, wow. And that's what keeps me going. It's the fact that, you know, you can just be doing a normal job one day and then bam, your life's changed. So she works hard though, and she's a phenomenal actress, and she's so versatile. I think that's also a really important thing. I think you should always be versatile. Don't just say, this is the only kind of character I play and that's it. Be open. I mean, I've set myself a challenge to see how many different kinds of characters I can play over the years. So, you know, I've played zombies, drug addicts, pretty princesses, you know, police officers, all sorts of things, nurses, doctors, prostitutes. You know, it's all fun.
Yeah, it's about everything.
Versatility is the key.
That's so cool. That's so cool what you do, and also I can't wait to see more of it. I'm super sure that for this year, this would be like the opening year from a lot of epicness coming soon. I'm super sure about that. The fact that you're doing what you love, it is super inspiring, and that is really, really, really cool of you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so nice of you, and thanks so much for asking me to come on the show as well.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much, and also I want to thank those who are watching this right now. Thank you so much.
Yes, I know. I see a few familiar names. Thank you. This is the first time I've done Facebook Live, so it's very exciting. And
also, if you're watching this later here or on YouTube or listening either or on Spotify or Apple Music, make sure that you follow Vivien in all of social media. Normally, what I would say is super simple. So you're gonna put pause, then you're gonna leave a like, subscribe, follow, helps me a lot, and then go follow Vivien. If you follow her already, that's perfect. But then leave a million likes, spread the word, share the content. I mean, let's make sure everybody knows more about her, and then you will come back and finish the rest of the video. And Vivien, again, thank you so much.
Oh no, thank you. It's been great fun, and yeah, I definitely can't be described as being quiet. I'm sorry if I'm a motor mouth and just go.
No, I love it. That's so cool. And before I send you off, I need to send you off properly again. So let me just show you real quick.
Ooh.
Love it. I love it. And keep killing it. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a good one, okay?
Yes, you do. Have a great rest of the Sunday. Bye.
I'll do. Thank you. Bye.
See you later. Bye.